Okay, you guys. So I have a sore throat today, and am still working through the fever. So I'm gonna be probably not talking a lot on the camera today. But what I did want to say, to continue on with the sort of fallacy of logic of the what I'm gathering from you guys and what the people in the loony bin said, or like a patient said, and with the box cutter showing up in the black box from Israel, is that you guys are saying that I had box cutters in my brother's house. And I'm still not clear if that is in fact the whole story or the story that you guys are saying, but I wanted to point out that the unlikeliness of this being true, if this is what you guys are saying. And again, like, bear with me because I do get a lot of red herrings. So, in order for that story to be true, it would mean that two sets of cops had searched me and failed to find these objects. One, like I brought up, the airport police searching the little belongings that I had and finding, nothing, no drugs, no large sums of money, no weapons. And then after that, I went over to my brother's house, and it was very cold, and I slept outside waiting for him, and was feeling the start of pneumonia, and my lungs were in pain, and it scared me, and I didn't like dealing with it, and so he wasn't home, and I ended up going inside, and the next day, was trying not to be in his house for the majority of the day, but left left a note letting him know that it was there, not trying to like surprise him, be like, we need to talk about these things I'm hearing. And anyway, and so I went. I didn't hear from him. I didn't have a phone at the time, but I didn't get any messages from him. Um, and so I went. Um, so I left the TV on just in case he came home. I would know. And then when I came back, it was off, but the note was still in the same place. It was kind of confusing, but I didn't see a note from him or anything telling me to stay away or anything. The door was still unlocked, And so anyway, when the cops came in, they searched me. They searched the house, and they didn't find any drugs or large sums of money or weaponry. And so I don't know if they lied or what, but I guess my point is, even if they did, it still doesn't make any sense, because in order for me to have gotten those box cutters back to Santa Cruz and in that black box that Israel gave me and put the box cutters in, they weren't mine. It would necessarily mean that Drew had to hand them back to me, because I obviously didn't enter the loony bin with drugs, money, box cutters. And so when I went, I ended up messaging him, trying to and Katie being like, hey, I just want my stuff back. And being like, and I also have your iPod, so I need to give that back. And he didn't, they looked at the messages, but they didn't get back to me. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm in Berkeley now, like, I need to get this now and swap it out. So I went to his house and was knocking on the gate, and I knew he was home. I could hear him because there was a window, and I could hear that he was home and his car was there. I was knocking loudly, and nothing, and then, but I didn't want to enter the his property because you know, I thought he was gonna do something shitty again, and I didn't want to give him the opportunity to be able to. So, and then at that point, he refused to give me anything else but an iPod for an iPod. He wouldn't give me my money or my passport or my makeup bag or my bracelets or anything else. He said if I wanted that stuff, I'd have to go find a way to Sonoma all the way up to get it. I was like, you guys, are you serious? You guys just robbed me. And then he was like, and I was being calm, but I was just like, are you, like, just floored. And, that he could be so selfish, you know? And then he was like, I'm gonna call the cops on you again. And I was like, but I was standing on the sidewalk and I wasn't doing anything wrong. And so I was like, why? Like, because you're getting agitated. But in reality, he was the one that was getting agitated. Sheik was twitching and his eye was twitching, and he was just acting very, very weird. And it was, so I guess my point is, he would have then had to have handed me back the weaponry in order to make your story work. And I don't see why someone who's so afraid that he calls his daddy to come drive over an hour to comfort him before just coming in the house, to just tell me to get out if that's what he wanted, and calling like several policemen in order, and like strapping me to a gurney and being so afraid, supposedly would hand me back the very weapons that he was afraid of me using. It doesn't add up. So I'm just saying, the logic on this story, if this is what you're trying to say, it doesn't hold any water. So, anyway, it's about 8:30, October 17th.